In this episode, we're talking about all the new indies of the week, with some with a big difficulty spike, a couple point and clicks, a history lesson, and literal cat fights. This and more on Indie Game Arcade. Welcome back to Indie Game Arcade, a podcast that deep dives into the latest and greatest indie games that you didn't know you were missing. I'm your cat-breeding gamer bro. My name's Chris.
Oh man, I'm your genetic glitch-seeking grave robber, Joe.
Oh man, okay, I can get down with that. I can get down with that.
Are you robbing graves in there? I don't know.
I don't remember anyone robbing a grave, but like, you know what? Whatever you do in your pastime is fine with me. You know, I'm not going to ask.
The intro of the game, there's so much that's like horror-themed grave stuff. I'm sure there's grave robbing involved.
Somebody probably robbed a grave.
So I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. If you hadn't noticed, we're going to talk about Mewgenics today. We're obviously going to be talking about a whole lot of games, but Mewgenics very much at the forefront because that's one that we've been anticipating for a very long time and has, I was going to say a large pedigree, and then I realized how cheeky of a thing that would be to say. But then I talked myself through it. Like I literally said my thoughts out loud, as I am wont to do. So now...
As you still are.
Yeah, I'm still doing it. Jesus, stop me.
Game start!
This was developed and published by Edmund McMillan and Tyler Glale? I really don't know how to say
I don't know
Tyler's
if it's
last
like
name.
Glale or Gliel.
Gliel? Maybe. Edmund, though, the creator of so many, not just great indie games, but very important indie games like Gish, like Binding of Isaac, like Super Meat Boy. So like not only, you know, games that are just, you know, fun and ones that people have sunk a lot of hours into, but games that have really shaped a lot of the indie game scene and indie game culture as a whole. So very, very important dev, and this is his latest game. And man, it's as crazy as all the other ones, to be honest. It is just as nuts, if not more.
Do we want to talk about this one first? Because I feel like this one is going to carry through the whole episode.
No, I want to get right into it, man. I want to get right into it and just let it go. We're going to let this thing go, man. We're going to let it run. So, yeah.
All right.
It is a tactical turn-based RPG where you are collecting and controlling kittens that grow up into cats. And then you are...
As they're wont to do.
Yeah, and you were letting those cats breed to create more cats for your squad that you take out on your roguelike runs. And in a weird way, and maybe you'll agree, maybe you'll disagree, but this, weirdly enough, with as like much gross humor and grotesque imagery and stuff as happens in this thing, was really scratching that Wildermyth itch for me. And I like it's partly like the tactics and stuff of everything, but also the idea of like having those you know, your characters and stuff. In this case, it's, you know, weird ass cats, but them actually like, you know, breeding and having kids, and those kids going out and adventuring. It's not nearly as like, you know, weird and vulgar as it sounds in Wildermyth. I'm not being like, oh, I'm going to breed my characters. It's like, but some of them will fall in love. They'll have a kid. That kid ends up joining your party. So like in a weird way, like I was connecting those dots as I was playing, and I was like, oh man, yeah, this is really, really kind of like fulfilling that need left behind with Wildermyth not having updates or anything anymore. So I was really enjoying it from that aspect.
I don't know how much of a need I have for breeding the people I fight with to take them out to fight more.
But I need my avatars to breed.
I guess you could, and then it's like if it would be like if Wildermyth was in like fast forward, because
Yes.
what's way different about this game than a lot of tactical or a lot of just like roguelike games is you're not really getting to spend very much time with the cats that you're raising. So
That is
if
very
it's
true.
one of those things where you're focused on like, oh, I want to breed like the perfect cat and just have them forever, well, it's not going to happen because you get one run with each of those cats and then they retire. And at that point, you can let them hang around your base for a little bit, but you're incentivized to send them down to pipe to other individuals who you'll meet along the way, NPCs, because they'll give you various things depending on how many cats you give them. Some of them need cats of different kinds. Like one of them, your really eccentric neighbor, he wants just like kittens. There's one cat who wants cats who are only injured or have been injured in battle. So there's various types of people who want the cats that you're breeding. So they're not useless after you finish like going on a run with them, but you won't be seeing any more of them after a while. Because that's something that really it goes from like them needing one cat to like 25 cats. You're like, oh man, I really have to start churning these things out if I want to keep developing my base.
Exactly. One of them like will only accept cats that are cute. And like he literally at one point says no uggos. So
Yeah, so you can't get, well, I think like that's the one that only takes kittens.
I think so. Is that Tink? Is his name?
Yeah, Tink.
Yeah.
Your flamboyant neighbor who apparently has a wife, and yeah, it's a whole thing. This game feels like South Park level humor sometimes. Maybe not
very
that
much
level, but like real close to it.
Yes. And I mean, that is sort of like the pervading style of humor through the majority of his kind of games. Maybe not as much with Binding of Isaac. I mean, you can see it there just because of the premise and the look of the characters and stuff in that. But Binding of Isaac was, much more grim than
much more depressing
than anything else, but like you can still see the flavors of it. But like the Legend of Bumbo, I can definitely see a lot of that in this game. For sure.
Yes, so a lot of poop humor, of course.
There's
like a lot
literal poop. There is so much poop in this game.
You'll see a ton of poop. There are poop monsters that are like also spawning more poops to fight you,
and flies.
There's an ability that you can get as a cat that's just literally like poop, and you think it's useless at first until you start thinking about it tactically. And it's like, oh no, I can like block a path with this poop or do something else with it. So it's like nothing is pointless in this game, even though it's full of things and all these different items that seem so weird or abilities that seem so strange. It's so cool just seeing how you're able to tie everything together, finding the synergy in everything that you're doing. That's really the charm of it. When you look past like the immature humor of it all, which is fine with me because I like that type of humor. I'm still immature myself,
right?
But like looking past all that, I think it's also got really good core mechanics to it. So this is kind of like hitting on all cylinders for me.
It really does. And I was actually very impressed, especially with like, I think the thing that could have made or could have made or broken the game, if I can actually get it out. Oh my God. Was the idea that because these, cats are just coming and going, you're only doing the singular run, their abilities and stuff that you get are all randomized, right? Like you get a cat, you have no idea what abilities and passives and stuff they're going to have. You have no control over it. So like you might get some cats that just don't have, I don't know, like some of them are good, but some of them maybe don't have abilities that you find very useful at the time. But the idea that before you go out on your run, you're assigning them collars, and those collars correspond with your typical like D&D like fantasy dungeon crawl style classes like tanks and fighters and clerics and thieves and those kind of things. So you're giving each of them a collar, and that will provide them with different abilities in addition to that. So even if you get something and you're like, oh man, this feels like a dud, but then you start looking at what those classes can do and knowing that when they level up, then more options will become available as well. You might be able to be like, okay, you know what? Maybe he's not going to be so good now, but like I know farther down the line, there's going to be things that might open up that really could play well with this. Or maybe you even have stuff in your inventory because you collect things like clothing and other stuff as you go on these runs. If you save that in your inventory, you can reuse that stuff for your next run too. So maybe you have a little bit of a dud of a cat, you can spruce him up with a bunch of stuff. Or if that cat just sucks, drop him down the pipe. So just
but also,
get him out of here.
This game, I want to prepare everyone for it because, yes, I want you to play it, but also know there's going to be like a big time sink. It is a dense game. Supposedly, the actual main campaign of it all, going through it, is like a 200+ hour venture. In all the runs I've done, I haven't like failed once. I've gotten through all like 3 or 4 runs I've done. And you're slowly unlocking new things as you go, including new classes, up to 10 classes. I think you start with like 5. You can unlock up to 10, it sounds like. But even in those classes, there are a variety of abilities that you're getting for everyone. And the items that you bring back, like you'll start, as you like extend your runs further, when you start unlocking new branches or chaining things off of it and doing like the hard runs and stuff, that's when you start unlocking like a ton of items every run. But then you only have so much space left at your back at your base. You have to really, really, really decide like which items you want to keep and which you can't. It's not even like I'll just throw this 1 or 2 items out. Like I had to get rid of probably like 20 items at one point because of the overflow that I had and just could not carry them because I just did not have the space. That's what I'm talking about. You have to start churning those cats out and giving them to your I don't know, the guy who, I don't remember his name, but like the first guy you meet who kind of trains you on how to cat fight.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You have to give him stuff and he'll unlock more inventory space.
Yeah.
But it's like, it takes so many just to do that. So yeah, there's a lot to this. It's a very dense game, very rewarding and really fun just seeing all the things you can do. Tell me about like some of your personal experience with the runs that you've had, like something fun or like, I don't know, interesting that you've run across.
I think one of the most memorable things that I did was I got to, I can't remember if it was like a boss fight or if it was something else because like I played the majority of this in like one night. But there was like one with I don't think it was a boss fight, but it was like a fight where there was a whole bunch of other cats that were all like fart propelling themselves around, you know, the arena. And
oh yeah, yep.
I had like the rogue guy, like the archer guy, and I used the ability where he basically kind of waits for someone to like get into his like range of field and then he attacks. And then on my fighter, or I can't remember if it's fighter or tank, I had the ability where like if someone gets attacked, he swaps places and then takes that person out. So I can't remember exactly how I set it off, but it ended up being like a series of events where I attacked somebody that sent one cat fart propelling himself across into another character, which made my tank or whatever swap with that character. And my tank also had like this blackjack item thing on him, but I also had all these other things on him that like souped up his strength and other stuff. So he auto attacked him. He ended up moving into another guy, like fart propelling away from him into one of his own guys. He died from like that collision damage. That one fart propelled into the range of my archer guy who shot him and killed him. So it was just like this crazy series of events of all these things that happened in one turn. It was just like so cool to see happen.
Yeah.
With farts.
I love stuff like that. Yeah, with farts. It's like you kind of detach yourself from the crudeness of it all when you start looking at it tactically, because you're like, oh man, okay, if this guy farts, I know it's going to start this chain of events. And
yeah,
it's just funny, like thinking about how it just separates you so quickly from the actual crudeness of it.
Yes.
So there's also, and I'm sure there's like way more than I even know about, but there are mutations as well that you can run across during the game. A couple that I ran across in the last like run that I did, at one point, one of my dudes like ran into a like a bear cave or something, and I succeeded on the check to like not, get attacked by it or something. And that mutated his legs into bear legs. So he just became, that cat then had bear legs, or still has them. I think I still have him in my thing. I'm trying to breed him to get those bear legs passed down.
That's so cool.
But yeah, so I think that gave him some extra strength. And then I also found in that same run, a mutation that I ran across was like, I don't even know what it's called, but it's like beautiful eyes, I guess. And it just makes it like literally on those cats, they have like sparkling, like pretty, like human eyes. And it gives them like +1 to their charisma, but like a -1 to their health or something. I don't.
Oh, God.
So it was like good for my caster classes, or not their charisma. What is it? The intelligence, like the light bulb thing.
Yeah. The intelligence.
Yeah. And so it's just, and that then when I came back and started like breeding those cats, like they passed down to 2 different kittens, those same eyes. It's like, oh, that's so interesting how you're able to like pass those mutations and things down to the next generation. So I can only imagine like when you start like getting multiple mutations stacking on top of each other, like how crazy that's going to be.
Yeah.
Because all this stuff like is physically affecting your cat too. And these aren't just like normal looking cats. These are all just kind of like wonky looking cats anyway. Just
so ugly.
Right. In the style of the other games like Binding of Isaac and such. So kind of what you're getting yourself into with that. And it seems pretty randomized as far as like what the cats are going to look like that you either breed or that come up to your door like in the middle of the night that you can bring in. But yeah, we've just, even in the like 6 or 7 hours I've played of it, it says on the main screen when I log in that I'm 5% done. So that just goes to show you like how much left there is of this game that I have not even scratched the surface of, and it's I can't even fathom what it's going to be. Like it's a surprise every time I play.
Yeah, just making that comparison to Wildermyth one more time, just because like I spent well over 100 hours, if not like twice that in Wildermyth, and I feel like this is a game that is going to do the exact same thing. Like it feels like one I'm going to spend a ton of time in. So yeah, very, very happy with this one.
Yeah. And plus you get to see all the items and things you pick up on your cats. So you find a cool cowboy hat, throw it on your cat. Now they got a cowboy hat. And something I found out yesterday is like, I found like 3 pieces of like leather, like face things or whatever. I found like a leather cap, a leather like face guard that kind of looked like Mankind, and like a leather collar or something.
Oh, I've been rocking that Mankind mask. Hell yeah. My fighter always wears that.
I put all 3 of those on the same guy, and it gave him a bonus. It chained them together, literally like put some silver boxes around them and like showed them as connected. So that means there are actually
like item sets.
They're item sets. They don't say they're item sets or anything. Yeah. It's not like if you get 3 or 4 of this, it's whatever. But it just happens like naturally as you put those pieces together on your character. And I just thought that was so cool that it's kind of an unannounced thing. So that's what I'm saying. Like surprises all the time.
That is so cool. Yeah, I love that. Makes me want to play it even more. So yeah, oh man, he did it again. The dude just like, he doesn't put out any bad games, honestly.
No. Even makes me want to go back and play Binding of Isaac again. That game is still an awesome game.
You got to complete all of the like 500, 600, 900 achievements or whatever of Binding of Isaac. Get them all.
I know. I even have a Binding of Isaac actual card game, like a board game.
Oh yeah,
thing.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man.
So much. So good.
Hey, let's move on to our next game, which is Relooted. This was developed and published by Nyamakop. You think that's how it's said? Nyamakop?
Nyamakop?
Yeah.
If not that, then like Nyamakop. I don't know like how the enunciation works.
I have no idea. I'm going to go with Nyamakop, and I might not be saying that right whatsoever. But this is a kind of like a future, they refer to it itself as an African futurist heist game. And it like, I don't know about you, maybe you got this vibe, and this is like harkening back to our days of reviewing cartoons instead of indie games. but I had like a really big like Carmen Sandiego vibe from this thing, and I was like all in with that. Like I really loved that kind of idea from it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, and just like the MCU depiction of like Wakanda is how I think about it. Just with like that.
That's a
really
very good. That's a good comparison because of like all
not
the
even
futuristic
just
stuff,
and not even just because like it's Africa based, but just because it is like so futuristic.
Yeah,
like in all of the advancements that are there. That's what I was thinking too. And then, I mean, go on. I've got a lot to say about it. I just want to hear the rest of what you have to say.
Yeah. So basically, like the premise of the game is that you are playing as, you're part of a team that is reclaiming African artifacts from like Western museums or people like private collections and stuff like that, like stuff that's been like stolen, whether like through colonization or other means and stuff. And you are going through and reclaiming that stuff and getting it back to the people that rightfully should have those things. Or like in one case, it was literally like the like skull or like remains of like their ancestor. And like the part that I didn't expect is that these are all like real things. Like all of these artifacts and stuff in this game are actually real artifacts. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so morbid that somebody's like, ancestors like remains have been made, a thing that somebody like hangs in their house or something. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But
so you're liberating these African artifacts from these like museums or like just storage shelters, essentially.
Yeah. And basically to do that, so like it really does play kind of like a heist game, like with a heist style team. And I'm not talking like smooth, cool Ocean's 11 style thing. I mean, this is like really high action kind of stuff, but you do have a lot of planning involved. And like, I loved the gameplay of this with the idea of you kind of like case a place, you scope around and you look at it from almost like the best way I can describe it, like off the top of my head without maybe knowing the right lingo, is like a dollhouse kind of view where you were looking at a building and you can see like all the floors and you're sort of, panning up and down and left and right, seeing what's in like every room, seeing where all the artifacts and stuff are. And then you kind of go in and you're having to see like where all the security things in, where the doors are, what is going to trigger when you like grab one of these items, like if a door is going to slam shut and stuff. And you have like certain spots where you can place some of your team members that can give you, a hand. Like your younger brother is like the kind of like a cybernetic, like locksmith kind of guru. Like he's got like a cybernetic arm that can like hack locks and things. You've got another guy who's like kind of like an acrobat sort of dude who can either fling you up to hard to reach areas or he can go up and like you can jump up and he will throw you. And you have to like strategically place them and you really have to plan your route through these places because there are multiple ways to pull off these heists. It's really up to you. But you, after you plan it all, you have to pull it off very, very quick in a very fast-paced parkour kind of way because like there is like a timer going where like these automated security systems are going to start coming after you. And that was just such a fun rush. I had so much fun doing this.
Yeah, I was able to get like almost gold on the mission in the demo at least, but it's like I know that if I went back and like reset up my planning phase or even mainly my planning phase, because the planning phase is where you have a limited number of times you can use that like acrobat guy, at least in this first level that we played. And so it's like, okay, which points do I want to use him on? There were like 3 or 4 spots, but you can only use him on like 2 of them or something. And so it's like, all right, where would he be most useful to me? And there's like the main objective and then there's bonus objectives. Yeah. Obviously you want to try to complete the bonus objectives too, which in this case were 2 additional items that you could pick up. And so the planning phase is like, all right, let me see how I can best set this up to where it's like, I start here and then I am able to run, flow all the way through this level, get everything I need to and get out before the time runs out. And after the initial planning phase where you have your bird's eye view, you go back down, you go into the second phase where you're actually there and you're setting up things like, oh, let me put this table under this door because I know it's going to close. And this will allow me to slide under it instead of just having it close on me and lock me out. And so you're setting up all the like practical items at that point. And then the moment you pick up one of the items, that's essentially what starts your timed run, because that's when the security system starts going off. And that is super exhilarating because not only are you having to run the path that you planned out, and you are zoomed in on yourself. So it's like you better remember which way you needed to go because it's not going to like remind you. And also you have to like, as you're going over obstacles or under obstacles or whatever, you're having to hit this button to react to get like a small boost as you go over them. Sometimes that's just helpful in getting a little bit of extra speed, but sometimes it's necessary to like surmount something. So it's just interesting seeing all the approaches you can take to this and to getting these extra bonus things. Like that's where it has like the extra level of difficulty to it. If I were just trying to get one item and go, it's like, it would make the game very easy, but it wouldn't be very satisfying to me. Like I'm going to go for all of it if I'm going to be in there. Yeah. And that's what made it like super enticing. I did the run. I didn't like reset it up or anything, but like after I finished the run and I got silver, I went back and tried to like lessen and lessen my time. And I was like, I just don't think I can get it any faster without resetting up the whole thing. And I don't want to do that yet. So I will have to just like settle for like the 2 seconds off of getting a gold medal. And I'm sure there's probably like a platinum or something that you can get if you really ace it. But like in my first encounter of this game, like I just had a really good time with it.
I also did want to say too, like I really enjoyed like learning the history of like each item. And I like that they included that in because like it wasn't something they like had to do, but they sure did. And I really like that as like, you know me, I'm like a big lore nerd and stuff. So like getting to learn the history about each thing was really cool to me. And that they let you have that time to be able to do that if you want to, like during your planning phase, you can like go in, look at each thing and like click on it and learn about it. And like some of the characters will kind of like chime in and basically explain the history and like where it came from and where like how it got stolen or taken in the first place and stuff. Obviously, there's like so much history and stuff to like extract from this too, and especially because of like the subject matter and everything. Us being like the people we are, we wouldn't be able to like really appreciate the significance of what they are doing with this game because I think it really is significant. But there's a really, really good review over on AV Club by an acquaintance of mine, Wallace Truesdale. I really think like if you are interested, go check that out. And he explains it like really, really well and has some really, really good takes on this game as well. Like I really, really thought it was a good article with some like really enlightening perspective on it. Go check that out. I'll put a link in the show notes too for that article as well.
Yeah, they don't make enough heist games. And I think like this is a really, really fun way to do one.
I would love more games like this. Like, I think that this is like a game that I would love to see spawn more of a genre, like subgenre of, because like playing this, I'm like, man, I want to play more games that feel like this. I had a blast with it. So I'm hoping that this really kicks something off. Let's move on quick to our next game, which is Fate of the Seventh Scholar. This was one that you brought up to me. It was developed and published by Lathandralis. I really need to start looking at these names right before, like, you know, before I say it so that I can like figure out how to pronounce them. I'm trying. But this was like another kind of like action roguelike horde survivor kind of style. But yeah, you brought it to my attention. We both played it, but let me hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, so this one, like, think Vampire Survivors, obviously from the like horde survivor perspective of it all, but this one, instead of having, well, also Vampire Survivors, I guess, in the way that like, it's not a randomized map either. Like it is like a pre-formed map that you are exploring. I don't know if there are multiple maps. I only played the demo of it.
Yeah, there's multiple maps. Okay. I've got some feelings about this though, but yeah.
Okay, like so you're going through, you're supposed to, I've played like a million of these survivor-like games, And some of them start to feel kind of samey to me. This one doesn't do anything like super, super unique, at least not yet in the demo that I played. But I was enjoying the time that I spent with the way that you are getting your abilities as you level up. That works kind of the same. Then you've got items that you're also picking up off certain enemies. And then there's a certain bullet heaven perspective to it. I wish there were a dodge, because sometimes you can get caught in these hordes pretty easily.
Not having that dodge, like, it definitely upped the difficulty quite a bit, because one, I think in this game more than a lot of the others, the enemies are quite a bit faster than most Horde Survivor games. Yeah. And then, not being able to dodge or anything like that. And a lot of the, I don't know how many characters you unlocked, but a lot of those characters have very, very low HP. So aside from like maybe 2 of them, like you die very, very quickly if you get touched at all. So it was,
I think I had
definitely tough.
I think I had like 5 characters.
That's about what I got too, I think.
Yeah, that might be like the limit. I don't know if that's all of them, but that's at least the limit of the demo, I suppose. Because as you go through this map, like you're exploring it, you're finding things that there are certain puzzles that you have to do like one-time solves of. Like one of them is like stand inside of this ring while this like sword charges up, this like large energy thing charges up. But it's that because that space is so small, unless you have like a really good kit for surviving, or you have that guardian with you or something, then that's a really hard one to do. I finally did it. And it's cool to like finish those up, because it makes progression seems like a lot more meaningful than the randomized kind of maps. But also, the difficulty level is high, but that's enticing to me also in that, like, as you're going around this map, you're seeing that there are areas that are just locked off to you entirely. So I don't know if the difficulty is so high because you're not able to access those areas yet. So it's more like a demo soft lock sort of thing, where it's like you can only get so far literally because you're going to die after a while. I was able to kill like one of the, I killed like 2 bosses and then one of the 7 scholars. And then that's when it just became so hard, even though I had like my really good kit, like I just couldn't even see how I would have been able to survive any further. So I think that's where the soft lock starts, and it's like, okay, that's the end of the demo, basically. Yeah,
I barely got through the first boss, and that took me multiple times. It was so tough, especially because that one, like, here's one of the other things is like that first boss is so much faster than you are, unless you've like really stacked your speed. So they are on you. Like it's so hard to get away.
Yeah. His like whole thing is as you're fighting him, periodically he will like, you're faster than him naturally, but his attack is he will charge at you and hit you and then back off of you kind of thing. So like every few seconds, he will just charge at you. No matter how fast you are, he will reach you, and then he'll get a hit off. So you have to find a way to mitigate that, or just be faster than him, which would be hard to do, or just like burn him down really quickly, be able to absorb a lot of damage, like be that big golem guy. Like he probably has the most health out of anybody. But he's also very slow, so he needs that to even survive.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the golem guy can't outrun him for sure, but he might be able to outlast him if he's got enough damage. So.
There's also an ability that I picked up that it was like a energy shield that, like, every few seconds, it would just shield you from all damage for, like, a couple seconds. So I tried to time it to where every time I got that shield up, I would charge at him so that it would force his attack on me, make him like bounce away from me, and then I could continue fighting him until my energy shield came back up and I was able to kind of rinse repeat that until I killed him. He's Smart. One of the easier bosses for me now, just because I kind of understand the language of the game and like what abilities I kind of need to go for if I want to survive. Yeah. But I also don't know like how dense this game is. It's only $10, so to its credit, it's probably like worth that at least. Because I really did enjoy my time with the demo. I just don't know like what all I'm missing outside of that.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm not sure about is the idea of like static maps. The one thing I do like, I like that they've added different puzzle things like around that map for you to do. And kind of like you said earlier, it feels more fulfilling because then you have a better sense of progression and stuff with that. The thing is like once you've done everything like on that map, there's just no reason to come back to it again.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how much replayability there would be to it, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, but, then again, we have plenty of games out there that have, unlimited replayability that it's like,
I don't need any more of that. Like, give me a limited game. Give me a game I can actually finish 100% or whatever and be like, okay, I'm satisfied with this. Let me move on. I saw some reviews that were saying like it's a pretty short experience, like the full game of it, but having not played the full game, I can't really speak to that. So that's just me going off of like the reviews that I saw.
I do want to say too that I actually really do enjoy the sprite work and I love the design of everything. That was like the first thing that really stood out to me. So, and it does look very Vampire Survivors in a way, but like, I think just in the idea that the sprites are so small, but it is way more like vivid and colorful and I don't know, like more exciting looking than Vampire Survivors.
The animations are better as well.
Big time. Yeah.
Because Vampire Survivors is very like still sprites to just kind of like turn back and forth. This the actually only thing has that moves is
their legs. Yeah.
Yeah. And the weapons they're holding. This one feels like a lot more kinetic in that way, but it's probably a much shorter experience than a Vampire Survivors is going to be, especially with all those freaking expansions they have now.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, but overall, pretty interesting game.
Yeah. I think like try out the demo. If you're a big like Horde Survivor fan, I think this one will scratch that itch, but it's not going to be like you were saying a forever game at all.
Yeah. Speaking of games that you surpassed me in by far, I've got another one that I want to talk about really quick, and that's Crimson Capes. This was developed and published by Poor Lock. And like one thing I will say real quick, this is an action Souls-like. It's like a 2D one, but like 2D, but the characters and the enemies and everything are rotoscoped, so they like have a very fluid 3D style movement. So that's like really fun. I enjoy that part of it.
It is, that part's super cool. Like, it's so interesting, the graphics of this game, because it looks like so like graphically simple, but then the motion, the animation of it all makes it just
crazy,
really enticing. Yeah. And just a super fascinating game in the way that it plays. But I don't know if you're going to talk more about that.
I was going to let you really cover that because I was terrible at this game. But
okay.
I do want to mention, though, that apparently this is sort of part of a series in a way. So there was like another game that came out before this from the same dev called Windmills. And it features also like another Crimson Cape character, but this one was more of like a, they also have it as a Souls-like, but I think this one was a little bit more in the vein of a Metroidvania than the one we're talking about now.
Yeah.
So
that's what it looks like.
Yeah. So I just thought that was kind of cool. It looks like it does handle and play a little bit differently, but I think there's quite a few similarities to it. So, but yeah, I was so bad at this. And I think partially because some of the attacks and stuff are just like very slow. And I am, I'm not the Souls guy. And so like the patience for that is not there for me yet. So I'm just like, nah, just do the thing. Why are you not? Oh, now I'm getting hit. This sucks. So
as the Souls-like guy and someone who also really likes to use like giant weapons in Souls-like games, which are of course very, very slow. Like I'm used to like really methodical play when I am like playing those games now. So this was it kind of, even though you're not using like a giant sword, you're using like a regular sized one, like your motions are slow and deliberate. And so once you get used to that sort of flow of it, you really start to understand like how you need to approach these battles. There's a lot to it that like even I don't fully like I know what they're trying to get me to do, but I didn't really see opportunities to do them much. Like they're trying to slowly introduce it to you as you go through the tutorial. Like, okay, I can now hit him with the hilt of my sword instead. Like I can hit him with the pommel of my sword. I can stab him. I can do these different counters and stuff. It's like, okay, well, all I really need to know is like, how do I parry and how do I attack? And that's what I was doing most of the time. Every once in a while, I would pull out like a stab if someone was at a distance from me, I just needed to get something out. But for them, and there's like also like a feint kind of thing where you like fall back a little bit to avoid a hit. And the way that dodges work is kind of the same, where you just kind of back up a little bit. You're not like dodge rolling through them or anything. So it feels very like a lot more, quote unquote realistic than a lot of Souls-like combat does. But at the same time, that also means you have to treat it that way and really like watch what your enemy is going to do. And some of them, like, they're not all like super realistic though. Like, it starts with some that are pretty simple. It's like, bandits or whatever, and they're just trying to hit you. All you gotta do is block or parry and just like, outfight them. But then you start fighting things, at least in the demo towards the end of it, where it was like, okay, this dude's like a shadow kind of dude, and he just is like teleporting around. It's like, okay, how do I counter that? And then I think the last like boss of the demo was a giant griffin. It's like, oh man, how do I fight this thing? So I had to like figure out how to fight this griffin as I was going through it. Or no, the last boss was actually a different thing, but I did fight a griffin at one point. So it's like, there's all these different things. They're throwing like fantasy stuff at you, but you're stuck with this like, semi-realistic type of methodical combat. So it's like, all right, how can I approach these situations? I do have a spell that I can do. At least you have a spell starting out, but it's like a one-time use thing until it like charges all the way back up, and that sends some lightning down. That saved me a couple times because it like takes all the stamina away from your enemies, so you can actually hit them pretty successfully. There's a whole thing. It's a whole system. I really enjoyed it more than I thought I would at first. Just like the visuals of it weren't super appealing to me until I started playing and saw like what the motion felt like. And I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. And then the more I got into it, the more I was like, all right, yeah, I can get into this kind of thing.
One of the things I found interesting about the combat too was like, there's that one move you can do where you're kind of like faking the enemy out.
Yeah, the feint.
You like move towards them and you kind of like flip your sword around a little bit, like you're gonna hit them, but you don't. And I just thought that was a really interesting thing to put in there. I'm just wondering, someone better at these kinds of games than myself, the kind of things that you'll be able to pull off, utilizing all these different, move sets and stuff together, I imagine would be pretty cool. But that's not me. It won't be me doing it.
I think like the boss was like a centaur guy who just had a long neck and shield hands. And that was like, sometimes he would like stretch his neck out and like whip you with it and stuff. So it was like figuring out how to counter those things. That was interesting. Also, like, I didn't even mention that there are multiple characters you can choose from. I think like at least 3 or 4. I just stuck with the basic sword guy. But it gives you a chance to change them like in the demo itself. So you could try other characters out, I believe.
Yeah. Always stick with sword guy though. Always sword guy.
That was just like, they taught me how to use a sword. So I was like, all right, let me just stick with this until I figure this whole thing out. But it was a pretty short demo, maybe about 30 minutes is how much I spent with it. But I think it'll at least give you a really good idea of how the game is going to be and if it's something that is your flavor.
Yeah, I think it's very, very interesting. Like, I'm interested to see if this dev keeps creating more games in this style, and especially like within the series and stuff, to see how far he gets, because I feel like this was a really big advancement from his last game. So I'm really interested to see how he keeps progressing as a developer with this.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the reception of this is going to be like. It was released today, actually.
Positive so far.
12th, as far as like when we're recording this. Yeah.
So
far, very positive. I see like really mostly positive. I see one negative review, I think, out of the 27 or whatever that they have right now. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
This is one that I'll probably end up picking up because I really do like the flow of it. I think it would just be one that, even if there's not much to do in the post game, which I have no idea if there is, like, this will be one I'll feel satisfied just playing through, be like, man, I will remember this experience because of how unique it was.
Power up!
Hey, if you're enjoying this episode so far, do us a favor and throw us a like, a follow, share the episode of the podcast with folks who love indie games so we can get more of these game recommendations out there and support these indie game devs. We also have that YouTube channel at youtube.com/nerdsloth where you can catch us playing more indie games or check out that top 5 and top 10 series for even more indie game recommendations, because we believe there's an indie game out there for everyone.
Get ready!
Let's talk about some other indie games we played this week. We've got a few more that we're going to try to blast through real quick. One I wanted to bring up, I got a couple point and clicks for you, but I'm just going to start with one real quick since you're not a big point and click fan, Joseph, but one of these days I'm going to get you. This is Shadows of the Afterland.
Well, you almost got me with that one. What was the one with the band that you showed me?
Dead Pets.
A week or two ago? Dead Pets.
Dead Pets. I also think the Drifter I think the Drifter would be the one for you, man. I think that would really get you. Very John Carpenter, man. You would love that.
Oh, yeah. I remember you showing me this one, too. Okay.
Yeah. I'm telling you. They're out there for you.
All right. We'll see.
Yeah. So Shadows of the Afterland, this feels very, very much in tone with like those LucasArts point and clicks from the 90s that I hold in very high regard, as like, I feel like those are sort of like the bar that everyone's always trying to achieve, right? Like everyone wants to be like the LucasArts kind of games when they're making I'll say a lighthearted, fun sort of point and click style game. I think this game does a pretty dang good job of achieving like that style of humor, the look, the feel, even down to like the idea of like the dialogue and the line delivery and how they even utilize pauses in the line delivery. There is so much to it that reminded me of playing like Day of the Tentacle that I was like, man, it's almost uncanny. It almost feels like they like literally must have worked at LucasArts or something at one time. I mean, I think this studio's like the folks there are way too young to have done that, but it's very interesting to me in that way. So in that way, it felt very much at home, like playing this game. However, like, I think my big caveat with this one is the amount and length of the cutscenes were killing me early on. There is a lot of watching to start out with, and I was just like, I want to get to pointing and clicking. But
that's what a point and click is, right?
I know,
it's just a bunch of watching.
Let me point and let me click. So I didn't want to watch TV, but no, it's a really interesting story though. Like, I feel like the plot starts out somewhat convoluted, but it's one of those things that like the farther it goes, the more it starts to make sense. But it looks fantastic, bright, vivid colors. I love the style of it. Like I said, it's very, very humorous and everything. It's definitely one I would recommend if you're like a fan of like the old school kind of LucasArts things, sort of in the vein of like how Locomotive came out last year, and that one felt pretty close. I think this one feels right alongside that as one that folks of fans of those types of games would really love. Let's move on to our next game, Towerbolt, which was sent to us by the dev. This was sent to us by Brandon from Boardinary. Is it because he's like bored and ordinary? He's Boardinary. I don't know.
It's pretty good. I like that.
I like that though. This was cool. This was like I'm not usually a precision platformer person because I'm not precise in anything I do. And like you've seen me play platformers, man. I get nervous, and like when I land on a platform, I do that thing where I like twitch a little bit and then fall off of like what I just landed on. I still do that a little bit, but the movement abilities in this game made it really fun for me, especially with like the easy task of go up and don't die. But it does get a lot harder than that sounds as like things progress. But like, what was your take on it? Because I specifically was like, hey, play this one because I think this will be one for you for sure.
Yeah, this one, I didn't know what I was going to think of it at first. Like it's really more than anything like speedrunner bait. It feels like in the way that it's got that initial addictive loop of, okay, I just need to go up as fast as I can. And it's like, that's a really simple way of looking at it. But then you have to think about like the mechanics of it and how you do that. And then all the different things they're introducing like every few floors where it's like, okay, first what you have is you can double jump until you like touch a wall. And that's what resets your jump and you can continue to going up. But like, it's not just getting up there fast. It's getting up there while you're being chased by a laser that is like, basically the floor is rising. It is a full laser. And at first, it's just like, okay, I just need to outrun this laser. That's fine. But then they do what gets me all the time, which is like, oh, now there's these little things I can pick up. Like essentially the equivalent of cherries in...
Or the strawberries in Celeste?
The strawberries in Celeste. Yes, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, where it's like, oh, well, I've got to get those. I can't just like not get those. I'd feel weird leaving them behind. So in the like 50 or so floors that I've done, like I've gotten every single one of them so far. So I'm proud of myself for sticking to it. Sometimes it takes like a retry or two, but luckily like the retries of the floors are super quick. Literally, I just press X and it resets it to the bottom. I don't have to die or anything. It just resets that specific floor. And so it is giving me that rush of like, all right, let me get up to the top, but also let me prioritize getting that thing. And that can be really hard sometimes depending on the floor layout. And that just was, I found it very satisfying. I say speedrunner bait because after you finish a floor, it tells you like the grade of the both your speed and your stealth. The stealth is like, did I hit anything that made the laser speed up? Which there's these like pink areas that if you either touch them or like go through them in certain levels, like they will speed the laser up like briefly. And that is what counts as your stealth level. And then your speed is obviously just how fast you're getting up there. So it's like, okay, I can get the thing, I can get the collection or the item that is like optional, but like my speed is like a C or B. Like how can I perfect that to make it an A? Or is it possible to get an A and still get the item? I don't know. Like I usually get like an A or an S rank for stealth because like I don't touch the things, but like my speed suffers because of it. So there's that balance there where it's like I could see like a big crowd getting behind this to be like, oh man, I just have to get like the best run. I'm sure there's going to be a YouTube videos after this is released where it's just showing like I 100%ed Towerbolt. I got all A's on everything. And it's like those kind of people who just spend hours and hours perfecting a level. Like, yeah, that's the speedrun bait of it all.
Yeah. And like what I really enjoyed about this is one, the quality of life with that just one button to reset. That was genius.
Yes.
I got to say that is absolute genius. So very smart move there.
So good. I don't have to press start and reset. I don't have to wait till I die. Like literally, like if I know a run's going bad, just tap X and I'm right back to the start.
Yeah. The other thing is I really like some of the mechanics around the jumping and stuff. Like the idea that when you're doing things like the wall jumps and stuff, or just any jump where you don't touch the floor, like it builds up like that momentum and stuff so that like you're kind of building and building and building this, I don't know what to call it, energy or power or whatever to your character that will make you jump higher. And I think that's
like bolter charge.
Yeah, that's what it was, the bolter charge. I think that is really cool. And so not only was that like very helpful, but that it also had me going like, how high can I get this? Like, so when I was playing, there was this one level where I'm just like, I want to jump around and just see how high I can go before I accidentally break it. And I got to like, I think 108 before I broke it. But yeah, I was bouncing all over the place and I was bouncing so high and it was just a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, that is a really cool mechanic. And it's just got that, because it resets so quickly, because it's got such like a short, like each level is relatively short. It's just like challenging to get to the top of it.
Yeah.
Like that's where it has that really addictive one more floor loop. And there would be times where like I would say, all right, let me just do like 1 or 2 floors and I'll jump over to something else. But then it's like, well, you know what? Let me just finish this whole, like all 10 of these levels and just finish this area because I know I can do it. And it just is so enticing. It kept making me want to come back for more.
Yeah.
So I really had a good time with this.
Heck yeah. Oh, I love it. So big thank you to Brandon for sending us the key there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. This was like, I knew this was going to be one you were going to like, especially because you're such a big fan of Celeste. So big recommend for this one for sure.
And it comes out on the 18th.
Yeah.
So maybe when you're hearing this, it'll come out soon.
Let me think. Okay. So as of listening to this, it is out today. So make sure you go pick it up right now.
Also, if you want to try it out, there is a demo as well.
Yeah, do that. I'm going to talk about another point and click so I can bore you to tears.
Yay.
Hey, this is The Dark Rites of Arkham. So this one came out on the 3rd, actually, but I wanted to carry it forward. The next game is the same way. It came out like last week, but it was one that I didn't get to play and I played it now, and I just want to carry him forward a little bit. But The Dark Rites of Arkham is a point and click, like Lovecraftian noir that definitely feels like a huge part of the Cthulhu mythos. Like it brings in so many Lovecraft stories, even ones I would not have expected, like the music of Eric Zahn. Not one I would have thought of like whatsoever, but like there's homage to that one in a really big way. And I just thought that was so cool. I'm a big Lovecraft nerd, if you haven't figured that out. Also ties in some like elements of American history to it with like the Salem witch trials, which like makes things like even more interesting and extra spooky. I will say though, because of the genre, it is a slow burn, but it feels very good as a Lovecraft story. And what you do is like you are a detective working for Arkham PD. Of course, it's Arkham, and I'm not talking about the Batman style Arkham. We're talking Lovecraft style Arkham. And you begin by investigating a murder that is steeped in like the occult and stuff. And it kind of starts with like seeing the tattoo on the back of a beheaded body, trying to figure out like, what does this mean? And then you find like a guy that specializes in that stuff who becomes your partner, and that does the typical Lovecraft thing of falling down the rabbit hole of like occult and conspiracies and the end of the world and all of the things that you love and would want out of a story like this is basically here. And in like this really good pixel art with a really surprisingly just jazzy soundtrack. Like if you like jazz music, man, this is a soundtrack you're going to enjoy. And Joseph, I know you're a jazz fan. I know you got that jazz in you. Yeah. Yeah.
Of course. I got that jazz.
You got that jazz in you. So yeah, it's really fun. It's really, I'm really enjoying it. One of the things I do like about it too is it's not hand-holdy, which is like one of the issues that I've had with a lot of modern point and click games. Like this one definitely takes some thought to it. And I really, really like that. So
you have to think about where you're pointing at.
I got to think about where I'm pointing, got to think about where I'm clicking. You know, like collecting things and thinking about like, okay, well, like I've got to figure out like a way to, let's say, get out of this place that I'm stuck in, and I only have these items. Like, how can I utilize these items with what to come up with some sort of plan? How do I MacGyver my way out of this situation with what I've got? And like trying to think about like, okay, what makes the most sense in this way? And sometimes it's something that doesn't make sense, but you get creative and you find something that actually works. That's the kind of shit that I love with these point and click games. So there is a lot of that in this game, which I very, very much appreciate. The one thing that I wish it had was voiceover. It is all just like text-based and stuff, which is fine. Like it works really well. I like voiceover in these kinds of games. So I just kind of wish we had that. But, that aside, it is a great game. So definitely one I would recommend for Lovecraft fans, 100%.
If I ever go down a point and click rabbit hole, this looks like one I would play.
Hey, there we go. Finally.
That's the best I can do.
There we go.
But it does look interesting.
Yeah.
Not my type of game, but yeah, looks great.
Yeah. I've got one more game I want to talk about real quick. This is called Blind Touch. And Joseph, this is the most humbled I have ever been in a game. Honestly, this is probably the most humbled I think almost anyone's going to be in a game. So this is a game... I'm saying game. This is a blind simulator, and that's literally what they have on their Steam page. I'm just gonna read the Steam description because it's gonna do a better job than what I can say right now. A blind simulator that lets you experience a new perspective and immersive sensory journey. So basically, you are in the role of this person that was in some sort of accident. You wake up in a hospital and you are now blind. And also, whatever happened in the accident affected your memories as well. So like every once in a while you go into this kind of like dream sort of thing, and different things that you find in your waking world will add new things to that dream world. So you're slowly starting to piece things back together. But the big thing is that you are literally like experiencing what it's like to be blind in this game. And that means that the majority of this game is darkness, except for like you get like, once you get through the tutorial and stuff, you get like your cane and everything. And what you have to do is really use that cane to, smack around and stuff to create echoes and stuff that you can use to see. And that was fascinating for one. Two, it is still, even with that cane and everything, my God, is it incredibly hard. It took me forever just to get out of my goddamn house. And I was knocking everything over with that fucking cane. Everything. It's not without its issues. Like, aside from gameplay, it is a little rough around the edges and a bit unpolished. I would say mostly with some very unfriendly UI elements, and the fact that your cane often gets snagged or stuck on things and sometimes does not feel super responsive. But I really had to ask myself, because the game was so difficult, because I mean you really are just like, even when you're smacking your cane around and stuff, right? You still have an extremely limited field of vision. You're only seeing like a couple feet in front of you with everything you do. And you have like objectives and stuff. You have to get like different places around the city and do other things. And it's very, very hard, and it's very, very frustrating. So I had to really ask myself, is this something I actually enjoyed? And that came with like more questions about like, well, is that really the intention of the game? So if like I'm asking myself, is this something fun I would want to do in my spare time? I would say nope, absolutely not. No, it was not super fun for me. But was it a very good learning experience? Absolutely. Like, it gave me this safe way to, experience something that I hope to God I never experienced in real life. This perspective that, most of us don't fully appreciate because we're privileged to have, all our senses and stuff like that. From that idea of like, did I enjoy it from that lens, that I got to learn something and experience a different perspective? In that lens, I very much enjoyed it, despite being very frustrated while I was playing. So like, it's a really, really weird, thing to think about. It's a really weird thing to try to like say out loud and say like, hey, I was very frustrated with this. I didn't have fun with this, but hey, I still really enjoyed it because of like the way it impacted me and the way it's going to impact how I think about things going forward, and not just like, in a game sense, but in like a real world sense. So it's definitely one that I'm just like, it's hard for me to say like how to recommend the game to anybody. But I think I would just say like, if you are interested in getting, having an experience in that way, and it, understanding that like you might not have a super fun time, maybe you will, maybe it will be your thing. Who knows? But you will at least like get to have maybe a better understanding of how somebody else experiences their life and stuff. If that is something you'd be interested in, then this is a really cool fucking game.
It looks like an interesting experience for sure. And honestly, like a one where I would probably have more fun with it than I would a point and click, because it looks intrinsically challenging. And it would also just be interesting to sort of try to imagine, or I guess like, in the best way this game is presenting it, imagine like what that experience is actually like to some degree. And I know like it's not complete, like there is imagery and there's like what's near you is actually visible to you. If you think about like the way Daredevil's sight works, it's almost like that, but it's instead of like black and red, it's like full color and everything. So I just think like it would be something I would love to actually experience, just to see what that's like, and just kind of a naturally challenging thing, which of course is always appealing to me.
Yeah.
Though, So is it supposed to be fun? Probably not, but is it supposed to be like an enticing experience? Definitely. And I think it's working.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, that's how I felt about it. Like, I didn't have the same fun I had playing, a game where I'm breeding cats and making them fight for my pleasure. But, it's made me think about things in a different way. And it's like something I'm going to carry forward in my regular life. So
yeah, it looks like you can pet cats in this game.
Oh,
with
I
your
petted
cane,
the
so that's
hell
something.
out of some cats in this game. Yeah. There's this one cat that comes up to you real quick. As soon as you get outside by this park, I was petting the hell out of that cat. So I didn't make him fight though. So I don't know.
Looks like it has 35 reviews so far, and they're all positive. So that should speak for itself.
Yeah. So I would honestly encourage everyone to go check that game out for yourself and see if it's something you want to experience. Like, I think it's extremely interesting and definitely one that I'm going to have kind of on my radar and follow for the rest of the year when it comes down to like those talks about like we didn't do it on this podcast, but we did a thing on our YouTube channel and stuff that was a little bit more genre specific as far as like game of the year kind of things. And one of our categories was like most unique game mechanics. And I think this is definitely one that's going to be a contender for that, for sure.
Yeah, looks super fascinating.
Final round.
All right, let's get into our final round. We're going to talk about some indie games and stuff that might be coming up that we just want to talk about really, really fast and get on people's radars. A couple of these are ones that I think both of us are going to want to just mention real quick because they're on both our radars for probably for next week that we're going to want to bring forward. One of them's for Squadron Phoenix, which is definitely like a very Star Fox-esque game that I'm very excited about.
More so than the one that's like a Tailspin kind of cover by that Star Fox team. Like this one is like your animals, you're in space, you're flying R-Wings, essentially.
Yeah, and what's interesting, this is a sequel. So there was like a game before this that was just for Squadron.
Oh.
And that one was a lot more akin to like original Star Fox, where everything is a lot more like wireframe polygon stuff. And it looks really, really cool. And then this one is the more like, you know, moving around and you're still on rails, but like everything's way more like 3D and everything and looks more like Star Fox 64. So I'm definitely seeing what this team is doing is that they're basically made one game that was homage to original Star Fox. And then they're like, all right, now we're doing our Star Fox 64 kind of homage. Though I would say this one also, you know, definitely looks more modern than anything like that would have been. Like this definitely has way more modern sensibilities and stuff than like something from the 64 era. So very excited to get my hands on this one.
Yeah, this one looks super cool. Definitely will scratch that itch of a game that I haven't really, a game type that I haven't really played much of like since those games. There might have been like one or two that have come close, but this is like a very, very, very like similar style in a way that I think it's going to be fun just from the nostalgic like aspect of it all, and because of the like the quality of life improvements that this surely has over like those original games.
Yeah.
And it's just like a fun, like weird, quirky space team, even so much so there's like a Slippy equivalent of like what are those axolotl like things called? Yeah, like that little pink lizard thing. So
love it.
Yeah, this looks super cute, super fun. I'm hoping there's some like fun banter also. I'm into it. And some of the bosses look like really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. Another one that I'm interested in that I'll probably bring forward for next week is called Under the Island, which is kind of like a top-down Zelda-like. Just looks like, you know, very Super Nintendo era sort of Zelda-like, but like with really cute kind of art. And I'm just very excited for this one, man. It just looks adorable.
I didn't even click on this one originally because like the cover art wasn't selling me on it, but the actual game art and the pixel graphics look so good.
Yeah. You know, I think there's a prevailing issue, I think, on Steam right now. I see this because I'm in a lot of the subreddits for like indie game dev and stuff like that, because I'm always just trying to keep a lookout for everything. But there's so much disconnect between the capsule images a lot for games and then what the games actually look like. And I don't know that I have a solution for that or anything other than like maybe, I don't know, designs need to be a little bit closer to like what the games look like to get a better feel for it. But like there are so many that like I'll see like people being like, hey, what do you think of my capsule image? Or they'll be like, here's my first one, here's my next one, like which one do you like better? And I'll look at their capsule images and then I'll go look at their game and I'm like, why? Why would you use either of these? It doesn't look like your game at all. So I'm like,
yeah, like this isn't 90s Blockbuster where we just had to base the movie off of the cover.
Right.
Like I can see all the images of your actual game. So maybe make something closer to that. Or I don't know if like you want to take like a direct screenshot or something, but like maybe just some kind of indication of what it's going to be versus just a cool image. Because there's like, those are like a dime a dozen. You see like these colorful images. And a lot of times, like, I'll look at those and just not be sold by the image and like, I won't even look at this. And that's what happened with this one, even, like I said. But I'm loving the graphics of it, and the gameplay looks cool. So this is one that I would have lost my attention if I just based it off the image itself.
The last one that I want to bring up, which I know is another one that you want to talk about too, which is Placid Plastic Deck, which is slightly a tongue twister. It's a deck builder, card battler.
A tongue twister in that you said it wrong.
Yeah.
It's Placid Plastic Duck. You said deck.
No, it says deck. Look at it. Look at it.
D-U-C-K.
I see D-E-C-K. What are you talking about? What are you, drunk? It says deck. It says D-E-C-K.
Are you on the Steam page?
I'm on the Steam page. I'm on the Steam page. Yeah, I'm on the Steam page.
I'm looking at it right now.
I'm on
D-U-C-K.
I'm seeing a D-E-C-K. What's happening right now? What is happening?
Wait a minute. Wait, are we looking at the same game?
Is this another
Placid?
Is this another Papa?
What is the
Papa and Daddy?
The Papa tree thing?
Yeah.
No, dude, I'm looking at it right now.
Send me
Placid Plastic Duck.
Send me a screenshot right now. Send me a goddamn screenshot.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to send you a screenshot right now. Wait, you're looking at a different game, I think.
Placid Plastic Duck Simulator.
I'm a Placid Plastic Deck. Wait, these are different games. What is happening? So, okay, hang on.
Wait, are these connected?
So there is a game. So there are two games coming out, and one is called Plastic Duck.
No. Okay, hold on. I think I just solved it.
Okay.
Placid Plastic Duck Simulator is from 2022.
Okay.
And is literally simulating plastic, like a rubber ducky.
Yes.
And then but it's the same developer. So this is like a follow-up. Okay. So plastic. So these are both true statements.
Okay.
But yours was the
but mine's the one that's
the
coming
one that's
out
coming out
next
Mine
week.
is already out.
Yes. So
but they are connected.
So you were false. You were a false man giving false duck statements.
I just went back in time. I was coming to you from the past explaining plastic ducks, which are also part of this Placid Plastic Deck
there
game.
is that, to make it more confusing, there is a very big plastic duck in the capsule image of Placid Plastic Deck.
Wow.
What are we doing? What are we even doing anymore?
I don't know, but this game has take all my money at this point. It's confused me enough to where I'm enticed.
It's hard to describe really what this game's going to be looking at it, because part of it looks like Super Nintendo style, like JRPG kind of look. And then some of it looks to be like 3D, like tabletop card battles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. And especially after all the confusion right there, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what this is going to be, but I got to try it now. So
yeah, it does look like a JRPG with deck building mechanics. I don't know if it's a lighter on, I would assume it's lighter on the RPG side, because the deck building side of it looks like the main draw to it, but I can't say for sure. It seems like the cards you're getting are just different types of rubber duckies, or plastic ducks as they call them.
Here's the other thing. One of the tags is lore rich. And I'm like, wait, what lore? Oh. What amount of lore did they build into this game about cards of plastic ducks?
I guess we got to go play the original to find out.
Oh my God. All right. Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Wow. This game just looks super cool, especially the 3D board, the card battler part. That's why I didn't even know there was a JRPG part to it until I looked through the screenshots. I'm like, oh wow, this is totally two different styles of games blended together. So I'm curious.
Yeah,
I'll definitely play the demo.
Yeah, I will play it even just out of anger for all the amount of confusion that they have caused me.
I feel like I need to play the Placid Plastic Duck game at some point too, just to come full circle with all that.
I know. Do we need to play that first to understand what this is? Oh no, there's another one.
Rich lore.
There's more ducks. There's another duck.
What?
There's also slowly sliding ducks that they've also
done. Man. And that's Oh, that's releasing this year too. And it's like a multiplayer kind of like Fall Guys looking thing.
Yeah, with ducks.
But you're ducks and they all have different costumes. It looks really cute.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay, maybe we need to reach out to this developer and be like, hey man,
listen,
I'm all in on your duck thing.
What's with the ducks? That's what I want to know. That's what I'm going to ask. Hey man, what's with the ducks? What's with it?
But this publisher is also releasing a game, or released one already, called Unemployment Simulator 2018.
Yeah, so that one just came out last week, and I almost brought it forward, and I had to trim my list down, so I did not bring it forward. I did not realize it was related.
It's all connected.
Because there's no ducks in that I saw. I don't know.
No, this one wasn't developed by the duck team. This was just a different team, same publisher.
Got it. Yeah, no ducks. If you got no ducks, you get no love from me. That's what I can say. No ducks, no fucks is what I always said. That's what I've said.
That's what you give.
Yeah. Oh God.
That's what a classic saying of yours.
Classic saying. That was what they put in my yearbook.
Game over.
Hey, if you had a good time listening to this episode, stick around for the bumper to learn how you can help support the show and all the things we do here at Nerd Sloth Creative, unless we're talking about ducks. You can also check the show notes for our link tree, which will take you to our social media, Discord, merch store, and all the other cool stuff. But get in touch with us and let us know what indie games you're playing. Help us elevate these games so we can help support these indie game devs, unless they're just doing stuff with ducks. That's game over for us. My name's Chris.
I'm Joseph.
And we'll continue on the next episode.
Continue.
Indie Game Arcade is recorded and produced by Nerd Sloth Creative. If you're looking for more gaming content, head over to youtube.com/nerdsloth for indie game let's plays and recommendations. If you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/nerdsloth, where you can select a pledge and receive access to hundreds of hours of bonus content from everything at Nerd Sloth Creative. If you're an indie game developer and would like us to review your game or explore other opportunities, send an email to nerdslothcreative@gmail.com with the subject line Indie Game Arcade. Thanks for listening, and keep supporting indie game devs.